I need to unmute. I am recording. Yes, okay, ready to go. Location of the fault line works. Number contours work. And mark up for exercise 1 set to remove the sidewalk, but I don't understand why. Because folks will unlikely to use that sidewalk that much. Because people are destination oriented, right? When they get off their car, they look at the building entrance, they walk directly over. They would most likely they would not turn back to the sidewalk and then walk over and then step on the curb. So that's why. And the other reason is that later on we will need space over here for your retention. So we're getting a little bit close to the steeper area. So it's better if you have more room in that on that side. Okay. See the numbering here. I see that. So I think it's the back. No, it's the back plaza that needs revision. The other ones, they look like they are going to work fine. It's not that we can't or there's not no room for improvement, but I think, roughly the grid work well. So let's see. The third question is how we will determine the FFE, the height of the stairs, ramp, and retaining walls, determine where the pastry draining lets. Did we say, I remember that being an optional thing, right? The draining net? Let me double check. Yep. Recording?
No, about John, we want to join
Sure.
the Zoom.
Sure.
But she couldn't find the link.
Thank you. I got into the right room.
I'm sorry, I should have unmuted. Okay, now we are back. Okay, would the swell be here where the pink lines? Nope, that's not where it is. If so, how would the contours be drawn? Okay, let's go ahead and get started on reviewing the contours first for this submission. Your drain, your swell should go this way and go that way, right? That's your swell. At some point, your swell will stop and then turn into sheet flow. And I suspect from this point on, your solution will be, okay, later on, I'm gonna have a retention area here, a retention area somewhere here. And then that's where you start the sheet flow downslope, okay? Then we come back to reviewing the contours. So there are a couple of places where we need to do a little bit more connecting back to original contours. Okay, so this is 10. Or is this 15? So this is 10, that's 15. So 12, 11, 12, 13, you're at about 13 right here, okay? So you have 14, 13, and then your 11 needs to find a way to be compatible with the 13 here. Does that make sense? So we talked about, last time, you do not have to stick to this grid pattern anymore once you're off the major paved area, meaning that along this road, you can start having a different shape, a different transition area, right? You need to transition to the 13 over here. So that means, you can have 10 here. You could even divide this into 3 relatively evenly spaced contour. So now you have 12 here. And 11. And 10. Okay, so your entry drive will be relatively uniformly graded. And now once we come to the 6 here, you may see that my swell now, it's a little bit too close to my building. So it's actually a little bit better if you turn your building a little bit, okay? Turn your building a little bit so that your swell doesn't really, there wouldn't be no risk for the swell to actually get into, the building along the edge here. Now we need to keep going once we get to the 6. So our 5 should be here. Okay, you still need to go 50 feet, right? Because we need to keep this slope more than, at least 2%, right? Originally, you have a longer distance between your 6 and 5 than 50 feet. That means this drops down 2%. Okay, so your 5 should actually be here. Okay, now we are missing, I think your 5 is over here. Let me try to erase the swell line here. Yeah, your 5 seems still a little bit longer than 50 feet away. So you need to pull that up a little bit. Okay, make sure this is at least 50, right? So that's your 5. Those are the contours of the grid. Now we need to think about, so how do my 11, right? 11, 12, 13 can stay where it is, connect back to, original contours of 11, 12. You have 10 there. Your original 11 actually works, right? So you need to find out how to 12 connect, 13 stays here. And then we need to connect 12 to 12 over here, right? There are a couple ways, like 2 ways to connect them. Now you can close 13, and then connect 12 from here. Right, that's one way. The other way is you could close 12 here and connect 12 over here, right? The key thing is keep this 12 inside of under the tree intact. Okay, so 12 needs to be connected, and then 11 needs to be connected in between, right? 11 is still missing. You still need to connect 11. That means you need to push 10 down, right? Push 10 down that direction. On this side, we have 6 and 5. They seem to work well. And once we get down here, it's not correct yet. Reason being, let me just erase this so that we can see a little bit more clearly, okay? So the key thing here is, if suppose my top FFE is 6.5, my bottom will be 96.5, right? So your contour here, the next contour here should be 96. So you should try to connect 96 at this point. right? Use that to determine where your how long your retaining wall should be, right? So that's the 96, but you only got to 0 here. Does that make sense? So we need to take note all the we're going down here. So these numbering are not correct, okay? So that should be 4. Yeah, it's easier if I basically use that. So we have 4 here, 3, 2, 1, 0. But your 99 is over here. It needs to hit the wall. Okay. 99 hits the wall. 98, same thing. 7, and then 6. So you can see that you need to actually push all these contour down. That's where you have your 96. So if the last line is 96, your wall needs to be that long, right? Same thing over here. Well, you might be able to get back to 96 quicker here. It seems like you have room. You have 9 here, 0 here. Yes, 0 here. You probably would not need that long of a wall on the other side because it seems like the 96 was here. It seems that it could be connect like that. Okay, so only your 7, 8, 9, 0, and above, those contour need to hit the wall there, right? So all those needs to come in. And then you need to keep modifying the 5. 5 was there. You could move it down or you could drag. Yes, that's a. So you need to do the 5 like that and keep moving the other contours until there's no other conflict. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So those are the contours, and let's move forward to talk about the stairs. Well, the stairs is really pretty straightforward, right? Here, there's elevation. You calculate based on the contour distance to the 6. So this might be a tiny little bit above 5, right? And then your stairs connect to the bottom plaza, which would be 96.5. Depending on where it connects. If it connects here, then you have 96.5. So basically this elevation and that elevation is the elevation difference for your stair. And then you use that to calculate the number of steps, right? If you have 6 inches risers, then you basically multiply that by 2. You would know how many steps you need, okay? So that's, and then ramp, the same thing. Wherever your ramp starts, that's the elevation of the starting of the ramp. Where it connects here, use that elevation. That could be 96, right? So those are the differences for your ramp, and then use 5% slope to do the length calculation. Again, these are still not finalized. You will finalize over the course of the next few weeks. So next thing is about the drains, and I hope everybody pay attention here because it applies to all of your drawings. So you need to look at where the dead end is, right? Where the lowest point where water would not drain out of your curb. Now, so for this one, you would have a dead end somewhere here, right? And then somewhere here, right? Wherever with the longest distance to your upper contour and water has nowhere to go. That's where you need a drain, right? Later on, we would have you poke a hole in the curb so water can flow out. But in some places you couldn't poke a hole because, for instance, it's connected to plaza or something. Then that's where you need a drain inlet. But for now, we just want you to identify wherever the lowest point is, right? Under the curb. So for this portion, it will be somewhere here. Does that make sense? Because this is the lowest point under the 6 contour here. So you would have, if this is a medium, you need something here as well. because the curb here is obstructing the water flow. Does that make sense? Without a hole along this and into the vegetated area in between, water won't be able to flow further down. That's where you need a drain, okay? Those are the only places that I can see that warrants a drain at this point. I think I addressed all your questions. Anything else?
So for the submission, because we have to like draw a center line for the swale, would it
Yes.
be like at that mirroring point on the
Yes.
fold line, like that big arrow?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that's where your swell line is.
And then should I move, right now my stairs and ramp are on the upper side, would it be easier if they were on the lower side, like where you drew the example, or does it not matter?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
In fact, you have more space here. Can you see that we're moving a lot of contours in this area? I suspect that you actually have more space than what I drew here, because I don't think this is maximum slope yet. So you could end up with something like, I drag these contour up a bit. Does that make sense? So I tighten these contours so that I don't need to extend my wall for so long. Okay? Because we're approaching the property line here. Okay, so that's the first drawing. Good work. And let's move ahead. Next we should have, think is Carolina. Okay. All right. Looking good, looking promising. We still need to finish some of the other contours. Let me read your questions first. Should I be figuring out the contours out here? Yes. Well, if eventually you need to connect all the proposed contours to the original contours, how far away can you propose them? It could be anywhere, that's fine, but we want to try to find out the best way, the shortest way, right? The shortest way to connect back to original contours, meaning that we have the least site disturbance, right? We don't want to move too many of them, because every move of the contours means extra earthwork. All right. So how can I connect my contours out here? Do they connect to the, yes, they do connect to the retaining wall. Slope here in the swell is about 1%. That's okay. I know along the center line is pretty shallow, but you have side slopes that are 2%. Okay, so that encourage water flow downhill. So center line slope could be smaller than 2%. Okay. Okay, let's look at the contours. And the same issue with the back contour. Okay. We haven't connected any of them yet, and that needs to be, well, that seems like the biggest gap of the submission at this point. The other thing is we do not keep the grid going here, okay, because we're already off our parking lot. So we should basically start with the grid should start here, okay? And then your numbering has some improvement to be done. Reason being, if I'm at 12 here, I'm already at, I think I'm 13, at 13 right here. That's 15, 14, 13. Yes, that is 13. And yeah, this is 13, okay? 13, and you can actually fit in one more contour here. So move the number down by 1. It's not that I don't want this to be 2%, right? But if this is too high, it means that your slope will be pretty steep here, right? Because I am far away from 5 here. Can you see your 8 contour is next to a 5? That makes sense? If your 8 contour is next to your 5, you have 7 and 6 that you need to fit in between. And that would actually create quite a headache in this area. It makes here very steep, right? So if you go shallow at the front, you have to go very steep at the end, at the bottom. So that's why we want to try to balance that a bit. So if we do 13, 12, 11, so this is 10. Not saying this will get us to, well, this won't have any further problems. It's maybe we need to make it, one more contour law, but we'll try and see. Okay. So this is 9. And then we have 10 around here. So then we have 0, 0 at the bottom here. Okay. Let's try and see if it works. So 13 doesn't need to move. 12 needs to go back to the 12 over here. It's actually pretty close to 12, original 12. Original 12 is right there. Original 12 is over here, so you may need to close the 12. Close the 13 first, and then close the 12 over here to there. Then we try to connect 11. 11 needs to go down here. That's right. 11 goes down here. And then 10 goes somewhere there. Yeah, we are sort of running out of space in this area a little. Because we still have to fit in divergent swells in this area later on. I don't know if well, for this submission, let's not worry about it just yet, but just heads up that later on you might need more space in this area, which means you may want to move this over a little or make this smaller. That should be enough area for retention for later. So let's keep going on the other side. This is 11 now. Our 11 is somewhere here. So 12 is already connected. 11 should be over here, right? So you might want to do something like this. And then 10, that's 10. 10 is over here. You might find later it might be better if you have a wall. But so far we are still able to connect them like this. 9 is somewhere here. So you may want to connect like this. And 9, oh, that's 8. 8 is over here. And then the next one is 7. 7, it's somewhere here. Yeah, so you can see that it's getting pretty steep some in this area. One thing that you could do though is to not swap, but turn one of these contour closer. So if you need to change some direction for the last few contours in front of the building, it's okay. Reason being, we're only changing part of the plane, right? These surfaces, we can think about them in terms of 4 pieces. Okay, the ridge line is a dividing line, and then the swell line is a dividing line. So up until the 9th contour here, this is not the other direction, sorry. This is one plane. Once we get to the swell, if I need to change some direction, that is fine. That is totally fine. You don't have to stick to the kind of perfect grid, along all the directions all the time. Okay. So as long as these contours, the first purple circle here on the parking lot, stay uniform, once we get to the swell, it becomes a different plane. That's when you can actually tweak some of the contours to make this situation here where you have so many contours attaching to the side wall, to the side wall, making the slope in this area pretty steep. Okay, so you can actually change one of the contours to the purple line here, and then you would have your 9 contour as the first contour that is going to attach to the wall here. Okay, now you would have more space for your 8 and 7 there. Okay, so this is 9, that's 8. Okay, now we keep going for 7. 7 could go like this. And then we need to change 6 again. Basically, you need to keep pushing those contours, okay? Pushing these contours in this area. That's the area that you will have the most challenges. Keep pushing the contours until your original contour do not conflict with your proposed contours, okay? And 5 is the one that you cannot change the whole part of 5 because part of the 5 is under the tree, right? So we expect that, so 8, 7, 6, the 9 contour will start there. Of course, you will have changes on this end, something like this, okay? So measure 25% here and keep pushing. Okay, so that's that part. We'll finish this area with 9 here. 9 is over there, and 8 goes, sorry. 8 goes like this. And this needs to attach to the wall. Your wall is not at the right location, okay? You do not want a gap. You do not want a gap between your wall and your stair. That space, because you need a wall by the stairs anyway, right? It will just be a space without any usage there. So 8 comes down here, and you would keep going for all the contours under that. But the gap that you need to fill is, how do I get back to 0? Okay, so if this is 0 point, based on how high this is, your FFE could be 10.3, for instance. And then the bottom FFE will be 0.3. So your contour, no, can't change that. Let me retype it. So bottom FFE will be 0.3. So you would have a small 11, not small, but an 11, no, a 99, sorry, 99 close to a 0, 0, okay? And then you would have a 98 somewhere, depending on what kind of slope you want to give it, all right? So this is 0, 0, and that is 99, okay? Now we need to figure out, it's like what I went through with Jordan's drawing. How do you connect 99 back? It seems like your 99s, or it's somewhere here. So shouldn't be, that's your 99, I believe. Yeah, this is 5, yet 0 and 99. It seems like you probably would not have a difficult time trying to connect back to 99. Okay, if this needs to be hitting the wall, at least 98, you should be able to get back to original contour. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else that you would like me to go through? No? Okay, good. Okay, next we have Derek. Derek here? Okay. Okay. So we have the grid going. the grid needs to extend to the end of the paved surface, okay? And it probably extended too far away out of the parking lot on the north side. The swale, have a little bit of swale there, might be okay. Most of the water will go to this side. Should be all right. You have a situation where your swell is not very balanced. Which means I have some water. I have some water. Okay, let's see. What's the best solution here? My water goes down all the way here. Most of them will come out of here and then be treated there, but some of them will get into here and it doesn't really have a way to be slowed down. So yeah. So let's do something that will make the swell a little bit more balanced, okay? So if we move the grid to somewhere here, so basically what you do is you don't have to change the design of the grid. You need to rotate it and move it down. So move it down so that your ridge line will be aligning a little bit better with the center of the front of the building, okay? So what that means is if the grid is like this, then we have rotation, like that, and then this goes this down here, there, and we can have one more. Okay, the distance here, you might want to move that a little bit. And it could be that this goes down here and then we'll change a tiny little bit of direction, which is fine. Again, think of this as 4 plane, okay? 4 different plane. Let me change it to a smaller size. Okay, so actually the direction should be swapped because we're draining from the building to the center line, to the HPS. Now your swell would go this way and go that way. And then you have a good sizable space here for retention and not too, no, the swell here is also not too close to your building. Okay, so that's basically the rotation. And the things that, the influence of this change would be my connection point will be changed, right? Originally I'm probably somewhere here, but now my contours, where it hit the parking lot, they would change. But principles of connecting them back to your original contour, they stay the same, right? So you would determine this contour based on what this is, right? It could be 12. You have 12, which I should work. So we'll just make it 12. And originally your 12 connects back here. Again, be mindful how you impacted the trees. Your 12 could connect here, that's no problem. It's not killing the trees, but I'm seeing some, you should retain more space over here, okay? That you should connect, close out 13 and then your 12 should keep at least 4 feet away from the 13. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's your 12, and those are the things that you need to sort of be more tentative, be more tentative to put in some details of connections under here. Okay, so that is 12. Let me put in numbers here. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. You actually had a pretty good number. We might not be as high as 8 here, but it should be close to 8. Okay, top FOV would be close to 8. And then bottom would be 98. So we need to fill in all these contours at the back, very similar to what I went through with other folks. So this would be 97, and you'll look for where 97 is over here. Seems to be this is 95. So you should be pretty, you don't need a long wall because this is close to 97 of the original. Yeah, 97 is over here. Nope, the other way. One more down. This is 0. Is that right? That's 95. Yeah, these contours will be dragged down a little bit. So 97 will go down to 97 can hit the wall like this. And then 96. And then 95 will go connect to, no, actually you have a steeper area here, sorry. We might wanna 7, 6, 5, and then 6 and 5. And then when we get to 94, the labeling, it's a little confusing though. Sorry, starting over. One zero here. Yeah, your building is probably a little bit too close to the property line. Because you're already at 95 over here. If I keep moving, yeah, you need to make this pretty steep here. Okay. Let's try it because I'm not measuring very accurately. So it's a little hard for me to estimate whether or not you can make this work. It seems like your 95 is over here. I'm having a hard time seeing where 95 on this one is. Let me try to figure it out. A little bit slow here. 5 should be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That's 0. And 9, 8, 7. So 7 is somewhere here. Okay, so actually on this side, 97 and 97 should connect pretty well. On this side, you have 95 that's here. So you would have, hey, I'm suspecting the labeling went wrong. Okay. This is your, if this is a, Mm-hmm. Let me trace your 0, okay? 0 goes here. Yeah, that seems to be 0. So 0, 9, 8, 7. 7 is somewhere here. 6 and 5. 5 is this one. 5 goes like that. Okay. So your 96, still not able to see where 96 here is. But essentially you need, maybe what we can do is to make this area a little bit steeper, but again, you don't have a big plaza here. So we probably still have to, okay, let's do the contours hitting the wall. So basically you have more contours hitting the wall at the plaza, okay? So 96 here, 97 here, and then 96 needs to hit the wall because your 96 is hitting the wall upper there. And then your 95, same thing, 95 probably needs to hit the wall again. And your 90, you probably need to work in CAD to see eventually which one you will be able to get back to the original contour. Sorry, this took a little bit long because I couldn't really see the very cluttered contours underneath. But it seems like you should be able to get back to contours easily here, but not here, okay? The other way, there is a way for raising your building up or moving your building toward and away from your property line a little bit. But at this point, I don't want to propose that unless we tried and with measuring to make sure if this area doesn't work, if we're going out of the property line, then we'll make that change. Does that make sense? Okay. Any other questions you want me to go through? Okay, good. Okay. All right, next we have, oh, Jen Harvey, you're online, I know. Can you let me know that you're listening?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so the first question is that you don't have to think about the retention area for now. Okay, the contours around the retention area will change a lot. So basically you just start from this, okay? Start from these points connecting back to your contour. Do not need to think about how these contour across these by retention. It's gonna be much more complicated than this. And we do not need you to work on that complexity at this stage. Okay, so you basically just need to connect the contour from the edge of the parking lot to your original contours. Okay, so that's that. And your swell goes, the direction is correct. Okay, and then the other thing is once you're off the parking lot and paved area, you don't have to have that 50 feet away. Okay, 7 could be much closer if that's necessary. We will take a look at, seems to be getting pretty high there. 14 here is pretty high, and we are at about 13 somewhere here. So we're going up and then go down. That's probably not ideal. So yeah, okay. I would actually recommend a pretty radical change to your grid because I would want you to try to align your ridge line with the road here, the entrance here, okay? We do not, we want to try to, so I'm not sure if I pointed out, well, I pointed out on Tuesday, you do not want your contour direction to be in tilted like that. Reason being, these contour need to connect back to here, right? If you have a if you have an angle that tilts these contours to the far left, you will have difficulty trying to connect back to the contour around the tree. So that's the reason why, and at the same time, you're noticing that at here, we're raising above 14 and we're much lower than 14 in this area. Okay, this is 15, right? 14 is over here. And you want the 14 to be here to connect back to the 14 there, which will, you need to go down and then go up and then go down, right? That's the complexity that's not necessary, all right? So what I'm going to suggest is that you align, instead you align your ridge line like this, okay? Ridge line, even moving it somewhere in the middle of the roadway works, okay? Not to this point, okay? Because that will make these contour too far away from where you would like them to connect. So at least no, your ridge line needs to align in this manner. Then your grid, you can keep your grid. You know, your grid looks like it's going to work just by rotating it, right? By rotating it. You don't need to change the angle of your grid. Okay. I don't think the angle of the grid is what will cause a problem after being rotated. And so that's the first thing that I would suggest. Other things, you know, like the distance between your swell line and your building, they look okay. They look okay. And your connection here, for instance, you would want to make them stay closer to the retaining wall, okay? Because you don't have enough, you wouldn't necessarily have enough room if we keep, for instance, a 5% going here. You still have a lot of contours that you need to stack along this wall because you need to go down 10 foot, okay? So that is about the side. I'm a little afraid that you are running out of space in this area. You might have a little bit of area if you make 7 contour, tighten the 7th contour, but it does seem this area is getting really tight and we're getting, oh, actually you need to stay away from the vegetation for about, I can't remember whether it's 30 feet. Yeah, it's 30 feet. So the base map needs to be modified based on that. The way that you can modify it is by rotating, by curving, okay? By curving your parking lot. Does that make sense? So you would curve your oh, sorry, that's not what I want. You would curve your parking lot like this, and then turn this to your building a little bit. Then you have 30 feet somewhere there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's take a look at your FFE. Your FFE, no, suppose we're keeping the original grid, using the original grid for critique of the FFEs. These work, okay? 9.5, 99.5, those work. Same thing here, right? You do not need a retaining for your ramp. Okay, your ramp is at 5%. It's not, you don't need I wouldn't combine the ramp and the steps together, right? Especially I would not duplicate the design on both sides because, you know, you would want to try to create a diverse design that, you know, offers some different experience, right? So usually combining the ramp and steps for the 10-foot difference might not create a enough interesting in well, if you want to be really radical with the ramp and step design, you could combine them, but it's likely not going to take a rectangular form or very straight line form. For now, for the sake of connecting the contours, I would actually suggest that you use a simple design, not think about the ramp first, just having a retaining wall so that you have something, right? You have something that you can attach your contours to. Okay. If you want to put your retaining wall here, that's okay. We can use that to attach your contours. But yes, they eventually, you know, just these contours will attach to the wall like that. And we talked about this can be much closer, okay? This can be much closer because you're off paved areas already. Okay, so those are how you attach the contours to the wall. We need to go get down to 99 here, right? The contours at the bottom needs to be 99, which would be somewhere, yeah, somewhere here you would have a 99 contour. And this is 0 or 5. This is 5. And that is 0. So you're pretty close to your 0 contour here. So I wouldn't expect that you would have problem connecting in this area. Same there, same there. The reason is that your building is pretty much upslope. You know, you placed your building in an upslope area. Honestly, I would probably drag it down. No, move it down a bit. Although I am connecting back to original contour pretty easily, I am running out of space for my plaza. I don't really have a plaza. Does that make sense? So you're basically off the drop off and then you bump into the building. You know, so or bump into the ramps and steps. So you might wanna consider move the building back, you know, by that much. And you wouldn't have too much of a difficulty connecting contours here, but you will have a much better plaza. And that might also offer you an opportunity to have your swale, not both of the swale go down into the parking lot again. Not sure if that makes sense. So now both of your swale, your plaza drains into your driving area. Okay, so your clean water gets down and mixed with the dirty water, and then you need to poke a hole. Sorry. You need to poke a hole here for the water to get out, right? You need to poke a hole here for water to get out. And everything sort of, you would have all the water drain here and there, including the water from the plaza, okay? Including water from the plaza, all the water is going to be down in your drop-off area. So it actually, you know, if you extend your grid, if you keep going like this, again, I'm still using your original grid. If once you rotate it, it will be in a different shape, but this is just illustration, okay? I have this one, and then I keep going for one more. Sorry, keep going for one more, and then I have my swale. And then my swale is going to be out of my, hopefully, if I want to direct it away, I can even turn a little bit, right? We talked about you don't have to stick to the exact same direction for the last contour out of your building. So that means I could change this contour to like this. So my swell direction is exactly what I want. I could change this like that. turn a little bit, right? And then you have your swell direction exactly like you have here. Yeah, go ahead.
How far should the swale be from the building?
If you can keep 20, that would be better. Yeah, that'd be good. Okay. Any other questions you have?
How far should the plaza be from the building, and how does the swale actually look like on a plaza?
The swell, you're designing the swell at 2%. So honestly, you wouldn't really notice the
Okay,
swell unless there's a really heavy rain.
okay,
Yeah. So it's a very subtle feature on the plaza. Okay.
yeah, thank you.
Oh, no problem. Okay. Keep moving. And Dawson? You here?
Yep.
Okay. All right. The base map is a little light. You have 12, 11. Okay. 12, connect there. 12, good. 10 works. 9 works. 7, yes. 6, okay. I am seeing some good things going on here. I haven't found an error in this area, so that's good. The 5 needs some work because you can see that this is due flat, okay, less than 2%. So your 5 is actually going to be dragged up a bit. Your 5 would need to be somewhere here. And then you have another 5, closed 5 here. Does that make sense? Yeah, cool. So then you have 4, good, 6. 5 is working, 99, 6 OL. We haven't finished the bottom part yet, but otherwise it looks good. 6.5, 96.5. This is 96. And we need to work on the rest of the contour up until 96. Okay? And yeah, that's it. Good, keep going. Any other questions? No? Good. Okay. Madeline? Is Madeline here? No. Devin?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. So 12, 11, 5. We're getting down to 5. Do I need to create more space on the left side so that its swell could be more possible to exist without it being excessive steep slope? Not exactly sure what the left side mean. Here.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's actually true. And you have a little bit of space. You have a little bit of space here. You could try to turn this a little bit. So you won't have, so this drive won't be that long. And yes, let's create more space. Otherwise, we won't have area for divergence swell later on. Yes, and then your swell in front of the building works. 5 contour work correctly near the vegetation on the top right. Your 5 contour works. Yeah, because you kept the 5 under the tree. So additionally, does the 5 contour wrap around the building after it intersected? Yes, your 5 works, but I don't recommend you have a 5 there, because you can kind of see that it's the same situation. I am pretty high over here, right? If I can lower this down, even by 1 contour, I would have 1 less contour here, right? If I make it here at 6, yeah, it's actually better if this is 6, because you can see this area is getting flat, right? In the 6 and 5 area. Does that make sense? You're kind of in the same situation as just now. You need to close, if this stays 5, you need to have a 5 like this. And then close this 5.
Oh, so I couldn't.
You could have a 5, but I'm actually suggesting that this becomes a 6. So let's make this 11 instead, because we have 13 or 12 here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's 12. And you can have your 11 even turn a little bit. Like this. Transition, right? So this will be 14, 13, 12. Yes. And then we will get to 6 here instead of 5. Because if we do not raise this, we do not need to raise this. So this won't be as deep, at least no, by 1 fewer contour. Okay. Otherwise, I think we didn't calculate how many contours you have here, but I think you get the idea of how to do the lower part. Good. Okay, great. Let me double check this one. 12. Yeah, you did it correctly. Close it either here or connecting it back here. But you did the other option. Good.
Since I'm starting on life, I have to do anything to the 12.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 12 stays where it was. Okay. Yeah, you just start with the 11. Okay. Okay. Let's actually go back here. Next we have Lizzie. Is Lizzie here? Okay. Right. Okay. So for this one, we have some revision of the base map to do. I think everybody got the base map corrections. Oh, once we do need to, I would suggest getting the base map down first, okay? Because you need to have the rough locations of these components correct. Otherwise, putting a grid on it is won't facilitate, the rest of the semester. Because you do need to have your, for instance, it's better that you kind of end your parking lot somewhere here. Okay, that's where, or even closer. Well, with your one kind of single loaded parking design, you'll probably end up with a drop-off area at this location. Okay, and then you would have the parking somewhere here. Make sure you calculate the parking spaces correctly, and not too many, but so far we only have about half of the parking spaces. And then for your drop-off area, it's better if you can end a little bit kind of early somewhere here, because you can see from other people's drawing, these distances very likely won't work. Very likely won't work because you have so many contours that you need to change here and the property line is close by. So likely your building is going to be somewhere here. Somewhere here, leaving enough room there. And honestly, I would even try to make this thing closer to the entrance. Sorry. Closer to the entrance so that I have enough room for my maybe even rotated a little bit like well, might as well start over. So you might want it to be like this, taking advantage of the most flat area up to this contour. Okay, and then that goes somewhere here. Now you have enough space, enough space for this swell to go on. No, the swell needs to come down here and there, right? So get your base map correct, and then I would have the recommendation of the procedure. You make your grid, two separate grid. Individually in AutoCAD and print just that layer. Okay, print just that layer. Not sure if you can print with trace paper. Some of the thick trace paper will be able to be printable, but print two separate grid, trace them. Okay, use tracing paper and trace them, and print, and then you have two separate layers of the grid, right? And then you start to place those two grid on the base map, okay? On the base map, and find where the grid, from watching other people's review, we have experienced that we want to try to align the ridge line roughly close, starting close to your entrance, and then to the middle of your building, right? So basically you would have two grid laid out like this. Again, experience told us that no, do not make it too, do not make the angle too accurate, right? This will create difficulty trying to connect contours in this way, right? So make them gently angled and start from there. Okay. Print them out at scale would help you tremendously. Without a uniform grid, you won't have a good foundation to start working on the contours. Okay. So any other questions? Okay. All right, let's take a look at the William.
Here.
Okay. Busy. Where should I put DI? So we went through some of the DI questions. And should I put plot in D? Yes. Yes. Exercise 2 final is in AutoCAD. So it's a little hard to see where the plaza is. You have a design that is a little different from others, which is okay. You have a big plaza over here. Good. Then the other swell goes into your building. No, goes into your parking lot, which is fine. The plaza is the drop off. I would still, I know you have a good plaza going on here, but I would still have a little bit more room in this area. So you can still push, you can see that your contour here are still being able, you are still able to connect them fairly easily. So let's make this a little bit bigger. Okay, let's make this area that's green. That's where, that's how much distance you have from your parking lot to your building. Let's move this down somewhere like this, okay? Take a look at the contours. You have 14, you have 13 and 12. Good. 11, 10, all these look good. I am wondering if you can, honestly, we're raising this. Okay, let's see, 0, 0, and then we have 0. Yeah, we have this raised a bit high, and then we're going down. We're having a lot of cut in this area. Let me try something. If we do this. No. If we continue and doing one more. We're doing one more of the contour like this. And then starting from here, we're changing the direction. Again, we can change direction so that the water doesn't go into your building, right? And this one can stay like this. Yeah, this one can stay like this. Well, honestly, I would recommend that you turn that one as well. Turn this like that. And this is going toward the. I'm trying to figure out where the edge of the pavement is. Looks like it's there. And then I would go like this, right? No, attached to a building. Yeah. And then your swell direction is this direction. That direction. It goes into your green, so that's good. Make sure that you get goes into your green. And then this means that the center line here is actually in this direction, which is totally fine, right? Define the middle point for this angle and divide it into half. That's where your ridge line turn. Your ridge line will turn a little bit, which we find. Okay, I might have tilted your building a little bit too much, but you get the idea. Okay, the reason I am doing this, reason I did this is I want you to have an easier time here. Okay, I want to make space. We're probably missing one more contour here. We need one more here. And then this one goes out here. So it connects something like this. Okay, to your wall. And can you see that I'm not sure if this area is paved. I cannot tell if this is.
It's just hard to see because all the stuff at the top.
Okay,
Just
if
like
it's
all
paved,
area.
if you, oh, okay. We will keep it paved, then I would need to keep that 5%, 50 feet going on like this. Does that make sense? So as long as the paved area is 2%, then you're good. I'm saving a little bit time, saving a little bit space here, but not as much as I would want it. Yeah, go ahead.
The contours that hit the building, do they have to be 10 feet apart?
Contours hit the
Like,
buildings.
how far apart? Can they be closer than 10 feet apart? Like
25%, the 25 feet, 4%, right?
Yes.
Yeah. The closest is not 25, sorry. It's 25% slope, 4 feet apart.
Okay, that's the steepest thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Otherwise, let's see. I'm checking your bottom contours and see if there's anything. So now this portion will become, my 7 will go up here and like this. If I'm still on the pavement, then it goes like that. Goes like this and goes like that. Okay, that's 7. 6, definitely remember you need to hit the wall like this. Okay, positive drainage. And then 9. We changed our contour number a bit, so this is actually 10. This is 10. You might get to 11 here on your FFE. So, or you can, no, 10.5, something like that. Oh, sorry, backwards. This is not 10. This is 8. We're not going up as you did anymore, right? This is 8. And we have 8 here. We have 8 here. So this FFE is 8.5. And the bottom will be 9, 8, 4, 5. And we're trying to connect to 98 down here. So your 98 will probably be somewhere here after you move your building. And this is your 1, this is your 0. That's your 0. Yeah. And then 98 is over here. So not too far away from a 98. Okay. We good?
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you. Good work. Different design, but you made it work. Good. Okay. Let's see. We have Cheryl. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong.
It's Sherelle.
Oh, Cheryl. Thank you. Okay. We have a grid that is going from the road to the building. The grid is going on well. You make changes to the bus drop-off radius. You too large or too small. It looks good. The radius looks like it's 100. The ridge line looks okay. Swell, wherever you started turning, right? Your swell is going this way. Okay. Your swell now it's going in between your building and your this one doesn't. You still have your drop off very close to your building, so we could make some changes to it. It looked like it will work. I would recommend trying a smaller angle, honestly. Something like this, because again, we're trying to connect contours far to here. That's why I would make it a smaller angle. Something like this. So then you would have, you might make it a little easier to connect the contours over here. But doesn't mean that your grid won't work. It could work. It's just, we know that with a smaller angle, it works a little bit better, okay? And so based on this grid, I would actually move your building. See, I either move this closer, closer to, you still have some room here, or I move the building down a little. You should still have enough room, even if it's moved down. Again, the reason being that I don't want your swell to squeeze through it. And I do not want this swell to go into the drop off. So I want to create some space here for the swell. Okay. I would recommend, so you have observing today's review about how to connect the contours, right? I would recommend that you use this space, just use this space and print out a little bit darker the base map and label the contour number. Use the space without spending the time to revise the base map just yet. Just go through the contour connection once and discover where you get where you could get confused. Okay, we still have some time in class today. You know, if you can make some progress connecting the surrounding contours, I can take a look again. Okay. Do you have specific questions about where you know? We went through, you know, where the DI would be, right? How many points of drainage? You have the pattern that's similar to others. So the drainage, the drainage points or the drainage inlet would be again at the lowest point of the parking lot where there's a dead end. You know, the water cannot flow out. So those are the same as others. Yeah. So for now, I would just keep pushing, you know, keep pushing the contours and see where you could get confused. And then we can look at those points and see, okay, whereas, for instance, whereas 12 and 13, how should I connect some contours underneath the tree, right? Does that make sense? Okay. Alexandra. Is Alexandra here? Okay. We have Lars. Okay. Yeah, we'll return to her. All right. So you have a grid, and the grid, it's the ridge line looks like it's lined well. And you seem to, once we get to the swell, you seem to went off on a different pattern of the contour. But instead, actually, the contour pattern is to keep going. Okay. So, no, we talked about, we don't want the swell to go into, so if I were to just adapt what you have here, I would have the last contour going like this. Right? The last contour going like this, last contour going like this. So that means my swell would go here and there in between your parking spot and the building. Okay. And based on that last one, my grid will go like that. And then stop right here. Yes, that's right. And then this one. And at this point, you can start turning because we're transitioning to original contour. Okay. So that's that. And then this last one. It's by its own. No, it's by its own, but we'll need to figure out a way to connect back to here. Okay. So this will be your basic. Well, let me trim down these. Yeah, my spacing is not really uniform, but you get the idea. And this one doesn't need to be that long because we are off paved area by that time. And this one doesn't need to be that long. It will just hit the plaza. Okay, hit the plaza. You had this as 13. 12. 15, 14, 13. This is 13. Let's try this one as a 13. Well, maybe, yeah, this one as a 13. And this as a 12. You have the same numbering, so that's good. 12. And we may not need, we don't need that one. Okay, I think that works. 13, that's 14. 14, 13, 12. Okay, good. 11, 10, 9, and then we have 8, and then we have 9. Okay, so we're about 9 here, which should work, and then 99 should work. Okay, so that's your basic pattern, and you have enough room here for the 5, should be okay. Let me look at some of the questions. Are these slope midlines okay? I'm not exactly sure about what you meant by midlines.
That's okay, your
Yeah,
arrows answered that.
yes, so this is a swale line, yes. Are all of mine 2% slope working? Your 2%, yeah, the 2% works. The blue lines, part of them needs to still be following the orange pattern. And once you get off the pavement, you don't have to, right? Okay, so these contours definitely need some work, okay? Those contours need some work. And we went through some of the examples, and hopefully those are informative enough. Okay, good. Anything else you wanted me to go through?
I don't think so.
Okay. Think we're the last one, 好月. Okay, good. Is it 好月 or 好月? Okay.
Well, I go by Ada though.
Huh?
Ada.
Ada, okay. I still don't get it how to draw the contours near the vegetation. Yeah, it could be confusing there. Let's see. You have 12, 10. I might, okay. So the grid, if we keep the grid like this, we could move the building. The reason that I'm suggesting this is you can see that your swell is actually going into, right? It's basically draining toward the corner of your building, right? So that's what we are trying to avoid. So we have a couple of ways that we can rotate the building like this. So at least your building is parallel to the swell, right? And move it a little bit away. I think that's a better solution. And the other way, the other thing we can do is not that this will definitely just by doing that it will work. You can change that contour. It's like you can change this contour to be like this. So the two contours that shaping the swell will look like that. And your swell will go like this. Okay, so both of them could work. I would probably do a combination of those or just move the building. Move the building because we're still not too far away. The swell, even if I do it like this, the swell is pretty close to your building, right? I just want to show, do not need to stick to these contour patterns. Those two, you do not need to stick to those. You can change the direction to make it work better for you. Okay, so that's that. We need to go through this area for sure. I would start with this one actually. We mentioned the grid stops where the parking lot stops, right? And then I would compare this one to where I connect on the street, right? So the street here is, this is I think it's 12. Or is it 13? This is 13, sorry. That's 13. And depending on how steep I want this area to be, I could, if I do not want to be, well, it's a difference between 12 or if you want two contours or a little bit steeper, then you get down to 10 here. Okay, either way, it should be fine. Okay, either way, if we use the 2% slope all the way, we have 13 and then we have 12 over here, 11 and 9, 8, 7. We're at 7 and the bottom would be about 97.5. This is 7.5. Okay. Once we have that, we can start connecting the contour here. 13 doesn't need to be changed, right? 12, you have two ways of connecting it. You could connect it to here and then close the 12, close the 13 first here. We have a little bit of 13 over here. And then 12 needs to be closed by itself. That's 12. And then 11 goes down to here. And, oh, we're missing a 10 here. Okay, we missed a 10. So 10 goes like this. And that's 9. Just keep going. Does that make sense? So that's one way, okay? That's one way. You can also, that if I erase the 12 here, there's another way of connecting 12, but we need to keep the 13 closed under the tree here. 13 needs to be like this. We can keep the 12 here. Now the other 12 goes connecting to the 12 over here. And then your 12 basically is like, I am just going around the tree and coming back out and then go like this and then connect back to the 12 somewhere over here. Does that make sense? So this should be my 12 and I will just do something like this. We do not need these grids anymore. Once we're out of the parking lot, we do not need the grid.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah. So 11 is somewhere here, right? So we can basically just connecting the 11 like that. And then 10 should be connected. By the way, your lines are pretty polished at this point, which is what we like to see. Okay? Not jagged. No, it's smooth and rounded. So that's what we're looking for the exercise 2 final. Okay. We still need to keep moving on these so that we don't have conflicting contours. Does that make sense? Yes. Yeah, you have, for instance, you have 6 here, but your original 5 is under the 6. So you need to keep moving.
So, so if I change like my 6 contours to 7.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now 7, it's connecting to the 7. It's connecting to this. Well, I would start from this side. Reason being, you would want to move as little contour as possible. So not necessarily starting here, right? We want to start somewhere. That's your 10. Now 9 should go somewhere like this. Even a little bit kind of down here. You want to change the contours as little as you can, right? And we keep going for 8. 8 is here. No, stay 4 feet apart. You could in the end put a wall here. Okay, put a wall here will make your connection a little bit easier. And then you go from like this. And we're missing a 5 here. Well, once we change it, it's 6, okay? That's 6. 6 over here. 6 goes like this. And then 5 needs to be moved. And then you have a couple of contours that needs to be moved in this area until they sort of integrate into each other. Your 5 here doesn't need 5 will be moved a little bit here, and then you keep going. So 97.5. Let's look at the bottom again. These contour need to hit the wall like this. Because you do not want water to flow along your wall.
Yeah.
You need positive drainage away from your wall. Okay? Okay. So 97.5, this is 5.
I'm sorry, but what is 7.5 and 97.5?
FFE.
Oh.
Top and bottom FFE.
Okay.
Yes. So 7, and we're gonna, this is 5, and that's 0, and we have your 97 contour somewhere 9. Oh, sorry. So this is 987. We're trying to connect back to 97 somewhere here. Your 97 is over here, so it should be pretty easy to connect back to 7, and your 6 should be able to well, a little bit of change here, and then you would be able to merge back into the original 96 and 95. Okay? All right, close. Good. Is Madeline back? Not really? Okay. We have a lot of time. No, if I advised you to work in class and get a review again, please do that. Go ahead. You have a question, Sylvie?
I have questions.
Yeah, feel free to come over or share screen or from last time, right? You must have updated version. You have an updated drawing that you want to show?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whichever way you choose to get a review will be fine. You can get on Zoom, you can come over.
On the screen.
Do you mind getting on Zoom from that computer? Yeah.
I have a super quick question.
Yeah.
If it's fine if I ask you now.
Mhm.
I don't know why, I just like cannot comprehend how like the ramp will like go around the
Okay.
retaining wall.
Mhm. Oh, yeah. Well, you will have to have a door, have an entryway there.
Okay,
So the wall needs to be cut open.
okay,
Yeah, otherwise you won't be able to go through it.
okay.
Yes.
So like, I haven't like moved any contours, so that wall may not need to like be that big or whatever, or that long. So whenever I'm doing it, would I just like,
It's likely
Like-
that you will have the wall.
Like,
You will
stop
have
right
the
there?
wall for the ramp entrance to the plaza, because at this point it's most likely that this elevation is different. It's below what's here.
Mhm.
Yeah, so very likely you will need to have an opening in the
Okay,
wall.
so it would just be like a gap, like there would just be no wall right there.
It will be like this.
I just don't know how to like draw it on.
It will be like this. You will have a wall. Sorry, it's actually the other way around. You would have an opening here, and your wall will go like that. Does that make sense? So this is open, and then the ramp goes
Mhm.
into the.
So then how would I draw that on here? Would I just leave it like that?
You will
or-
leave it like this.
Okay,
Later on, you're drawing the plan, you would be drawing it like this. Sorry, it's not a dash line in between.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect, thank you.
Okay. Right, I'm gonna stop share. Assign. Okay, feel free to share the screen when you're ready. You can share screen. You-
Question.
Yeah.
After Sylvie's done, can I ask like a quick, could you possibly go back to my, submission? Actually, I had to ask like a quick question.
Go ahead. Yeah, we can. I'll talk to Sylvie first and then we can talk about yours.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Sylvie. Oh, no, I can hear you. I see your grid is going, yeah, it's hard for me to see the regional contour though.
Oh.
Did you, yeah, to turn it up? Yeah,
So, I mean, I guess I don't really have like a specific question, maybe
Mhm.
more so, like the contours beside the building. I made them closer together because I wanted to limit.
that's your 5.
So I'll have to draw that in.
Yeah, we are missing one contour here. Cause based on the distance, yeah, that's a 50 feet distance, right? We're missing one there. Okay, anything else?
Yeah, so the contours that are against the building
Mhm.
right there. I tried to push them close together, so I limited as much as possible the amount of like over here. And I
Yeah,
tried to limit
Uh-huh.
what I was doing over
Mhm,
there because when I started to push it back like this, I had to
Mhm.
keep going
Mhm.
and it just looked really bad.
It's okay,
Okay.
well, we do need to turn this one, no, and then you could move out, no, space them out a little bit more, right?
Okay.
So that we know by this time, we're almost back to original contour. We only need to change the tails a little bit so that it creates positive drainage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the lines hitting 90 degrees at the building.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember that. So I can't change that part of it. so-
Yeah, I think these look fine. They are correct, right?
Okay.
They're not wrong, but you can more evenly space them out a tad so
Okay.
that this becomes a more uniform kind of slope there.
Okay.
But otherwise, there's nothing wrong with them. And here,
And then I want to also talk about like the opposite side of the building, like
yeah,
that. It's kind of like the end of the swale going on.
so your swell is going like this.
Yeah.
I would want it to go more like that because you don't want water to do the maybe it's easier to make it thicker.
So I want
You want the swell to go in this direction instead. You do not want it to go this direction because it's
so-
draining to your stairs,
so
right?
these lines should go up here as if they're draining like this way.
Yes. So to make that change, you just need to move this one like this. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Change that contour to that one, then there you go, you got it. Yeah, and then it also means that,
Like I can make that 6 contour tighter
Mhm.
there.
yeah, so that also means that 7 needs to go like this.
Mhm.
Okay, 7 needs to go like that. And then the 5 cannot hit the wall like this. You can see the water will drain to your building if that's the case, right? So you need to change
Oh.
your 5 to be like this. That's your 5.
Okay.
Yeah, and then using that to change the following contours, like, keep moving these contours.
Yeah.
And then when the contours hit the ramp, they will change. But that's not, let's wait until later to do that part. Because you cannot have the same slope on the ramp. The ramp needs to be 5%. It cannot be. So eventually, what we're trying to do, let me try to give you just a snapshot, you would do this later on for the ramp. But don't worry about the orange line just yet. Make the pink lines correct then.
And so,
Mm.
all right, that's a big help. Also, with this rail line and these contour lines. Is this, so it's just like, it's just gonna direct it in this general direction?
Yes,
So
yeah,
it doesn't have to follow this exactly. it just has to
No.
do Like this,
Uh-huh.
like this.
yeah, yeah. We just want the swell line to be away from your building. Mhm.
Also, I came upon, so you know how we made the grid that was 50 feet? We made it 50
Mhm,
feet, we
mhm.
offset it. I was measuring, and this is 70 some odd feet.
Mhm.
Is that,
That's okay, because we only need the side slope to be 2%.
okay?
We're not keeping the center line 50 feet. We are keeping this to,
Just
yeah,
side.
this 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, the side slope.
Okay.
Mm.
Oh, sorry, I have so
No,
many questions.
No problem.
So when we have a review, you suggested, changing the numbers here, which I ended up making this 11, and I see a lot of people have 12, 11, 10 here. But with changing my grid, with how you suggested, this is now my 11.
Okay.
As I connected it
That
over
that
here.
do need to be 12, I believe. Well, let's see, 11. The 11 makes it. Let's see, I'm trying to figure out where the boundary of your. Oh, okay. You can see that this is your 11 there, right? That was your 11 being here. It's okay. Well, we'll make it easy. Your 11, it's right there. Just keep the original one. Does that make sense? If you want to change, honestly, if you want to change,
So just
because
don't worry
we're
about-
at the entry drive here. It's flexible there.
So I
Okay.
don't even have to worry about having, changing the 11th contour, like I could just leave it at the highest 10 being changed.
Yeah. Honestly, I would probably do the 10 here and do the 14 here and divide it like this. That's too much.
So after that point, it doesn't have to be 50 feet apart.
No, because it's an entry drive. If you
Oh.
want to, for instance, if you want to make this area, well, it does make sense to make this area flat, right? You can keep the 11 there.
Oh.
I think that's a better design. 11 and then 12 and then 13, 14. And then evenly distribute these, relatively evenly distribute that.
And then should I connect, wait, so this is 11, and then should I, so keep the 12 there, not connect it here?
You can keep the 12 there. The 12,
Is this line? Oh,
The-
it's stay the same, yeah,
yeah,
okay.
the 12 will stay the same there, but you need to close. So 12 is over here.
Yeah,
You keep the 12 connected to here. That's not the 12. You keep the 12 connected to here. You're right, connecting to here. That's the 12, right? You can cut this off a little bit. Cut this off a little bit.
yeah.
And then this, as long as this line doesn't conflict with this line, you're good.
Okay.
This is where you need to stay away
13,
from.
yeah.
That's actually 12. This is 12.
Oh, yeah, this
Yeah.
is 13.
This is the 12 goes like this, underneath and then go back out and then connect back. Make sense? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Okay,
And so for next submission, that's what I need to know for them.
right, good. Good.
Okay.
It's good to see you keep making progress.
Yeah, thank you.
I think we have Derek, right? Is Derek here?
Like,
Derek. Derek. It's okay, it's okay.
I'm so excited.
I'm here.
I was looking for the-
Where? Let me turn this on.